Joining us now to discuss this and more, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, good to see you. How would you argue this? I thought David Schoen, who's going to join us next, was particularly effective. I thought it was a little bit of a weak start. I'm not being critical, just a little lackluster, meandering to me, needed a little more focus, and I thought David brought that. Your thoughts?
Well, there's no doubt the lawyers can tighten it up some, but at the end of the day, I think today typified what we're going to see this week, which is it reminds me of Shakespeare. It's full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. We're going to see this week a whole lot of Democrats pounding the table. We're going to see a lot of moralizing and a lot of really venting their hatred for Donald Trump. In case you haven't been paying attention the last 4 years, the Democrats really, really, really hate Donald Trump. And they're going to attack President Trump over and over and over and over again, every way they can. They're going to bring in, the idea that they've got, Swalwell coming in. I do hope he gives some remarks on improving our relations with China. He has a novel approach to that. But this is going to be just venting the id of the Democrats.
Senator,
and then it's going to end with failure. It is going to end with the president being acquitted. In order for the president to be convicted, it takes 67 votes in the U.S. Senate. That's not going to happen. It's not going to get 67 votes. It's not going to get close to 67 votes. Every one of the 100 senators knows that. Every one of the House managers knows that. But this is political theater because rather than address the real problems, the real challenges we have in this country, rather than focus on getting kids back in school and getting tens of millions of Americans back to work, the Democrats want a week of just political theater raging at Donald Trump.
If the issues that you mentioned and others, COVID relief, the vaccine distribution, helping people that are still in need of help because of draconian shutdowns, et cetera, if that wasn't so important right now, I would almost want to argue I'd like to bring in witnesses because I'd like America to see the double standard of how we define insightful language and insurrection. But now that we know it's pre-planned and they knew it ahead of time and didn't do anything, that now transcends all issues because we can't allow that to be happening in a post-9/11 America, Senator Cruz.
Well, Sean, you're exactly right. And let me commend your monologue tonight. I always enjoy the monologues, but I think you did a really nice job of clipping together some of the more egregious examples. The Democrats right now, what they're trying to say is that President Trump's rhetoric what caused the terrorist attack on the Capitol. And listen, the president's language at times, I think, is overheated. But if you look at the language he used, saying things like fight, saying things like go retake our country, if that is now incitement, then we better prepare a long line to indict every candidate for office who's ever run. Anyone who's ever given a stump speech has said, let's go fight, let's go win, let's go retake our country. And when it comes to encouraging violence, you noted quite rightly that the president was careful to say that the protesters should be peaceful. We have had Democrats for a year cheering on. We've seen violence all over the country. We've seen riots all over the country. We've seen stores being looted, stores being firebombed, police cars being firebombed, police officers being assaulted, police officers being murdered, individual citizens being assaulted. And what did the Democrats do? They cheered it on. They celebrated. In fact, Kamala Harris, our new vice president, Kamala Harris, not only encouraged them, keep at it, keep doing more, she raised money to pay for the bail, to bail out the violent criminals. Now, let me be clear. Anyone who attacked the Capitol, anyone who attacked a police officer, they need to be prosecuted, and they need to be put in jail a long, long time. Nobody has a right to engage in violence. The difference is you and I have been consistent in that. We've said if you're engaged in violence, whether you're left-wing or right-wing, that's unacceptable. The Democrats have been complete hypocrites on this, cheering on BLM and Antifa and apologizing for their violence, and the hypocrisy is really thick right now.
Senator, you're a constitutional scholar. You're a champion debater from Harvard. Tell me what my arguments are missing, or maybe what you would like to see and hear from the defense in this case?
I think the arguments that the defense needs to focus on are precisely what you say, which is that the impeachment article fails on the merits. They have charged the president with incitement of violence and insurrection. Nothing he said meets the legal standard for incitement. Incitement is very clear. Incitement is very deliberately saying, go attack. And by the way, if you were actually measuring the standard for incitement, those Democrats you played, Maxine Waters, what she said, Chuck Schumer, what he said, they would come much closer to meeting the standard for incitement than did President Trump. But the honest answer is none of them meet incitement. You know, we have the First Amendment. We have robust political speech. People are entitled to be idiots. And you know what? In the United States Congress, we get a lot of people doing that. We shouldn't be prosecuting people for speaking, and we shouldn't be impeaching them. This is political theater. And the reason they're doing this, we need to understand this. It's not just that they hate Donald Trump. They hate the 75 million Americans who voted for him, and they're trying to silence you. They're trying to cancel you. They're trying to erase you, and it's not going to work. And already, just a couple of weeks into the Biden administration, they're overreaching. They're going too far left. And politics is like a pendulum, and we're going to come back towards sanity. And mark my words, 2022 is going to be a fantastic election, and 2024 is going to be a fantastic election.
All right, Senator Ted Cruz, thank you.